Everyone, how are you?
Good.
Everybody okay? Everybody good?
Yeah.
Good. So my name is Sheena real quick. I am the HR manager for Secure State. I'll give you a little bit of my background. I actually started out in HR maybe 15 years ago. I'm kind of dating myself a little bit, but that's okay. I started out in the public sector with General Electric, and then I moved into a private sector. I worked for an organization, an actual anti-money laundering firm. That was pretty cool. And now I'm at Secure State. So I'm going to share with you tonight just some basic HR tips, right? So how many people have ever went to a job fair, or you've ever applied for a job and you never got a call back or you never heard anything? You always wonder, like, why? Like, what happened? Like, did it just fall into the sky, or did they not like me? You know, they didn't even call me back. What happened? So I'm going to just share a little bit about HR and kind of what we look for and what recruiters look for and how you can stand out, right? So this is just a little bit of my background. I have an MBA from the University of Phoenix, and I'm currently pursuing my SPHR, which is a Senior Professional Human Resource certificate, and I'm passionate about helping candidates get the positions that they want. So how to get noticed by employers. So customize your resume to the position of your interest. Do you understand what I mean when I say that, right? So a lot of times I get resumes from people, they're interested, they have a really cool cover letter, and then I get the resume and I'm like, oh my God, this sucks. This is horrible. This sucks. Why did you do this? I don't want to read through all this. The truth is, in HR and recruiting, we probably look at resumes 60 seconds. You have 60 seconds to catch my attention, like tops, that's it. I want to see what skill sets do you have for the position that you're applying for. So I don't want to see 15 years of experience if I'm only asking for 5. You may just want to put 5 there. I have 5 years experience, and then after you get in, you can tell me, hey, I have 15 years of experience. And I'm like, it's pretty cool, right? Ask for a referral from a current employee within the organization. So one of the ways that you can do this, if you don't currently know an employee, does everyone have a LinkedIn page? Yes? Everybody got LinkedIn? So I use LinkedIn. I stalk on LinkedIn, right? I stalk everybody on LinkedIn. I do. And I go into private setting. So what I'll usually do is, if there's an organization that I'm interested in, I'll usually go and I'll find employees that I know that work for the organization already, right? And then I'll try to figure out who they know in the organization, what their position is in the organization, and then I start up a conversation that way with them on social media. This is great. Research the organization and understand what they stand for. So this is pretty cool. So a lot of organizations now, they actually will tell you on their website what they're passionate about, what they stand for, right? So one of the things with Secure State that they stand for and that they love are pets. So they have a pet day. So actually on Thursdays, you can bring in your dog. Everybody brings their dogs in, right? On Thursday. So that may be something that you may want to look into. Another thing that they're passionate about is giving back in the community. So a couple weeks ago, they did something called Capture the Flag. Was it in PA?
Yes, it was at University of Pitt.
It was the University of Pitt. So how can you get involved in that kind of activity, right? So they can notice you, they can know who you are. You can go there, you can meet some really great people that are part of the organization. You may even get a chance to meet the CEO. You just never know. Again, utilize LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I cannot stress enough how important using LinkedIn is. LinkedIn has some really great features right now. If you have LinkedIn Premium, you can actually go into what they call like a private mode, and you can inbox recruiters for free. Otherwise, you have to pay, and you can kind of pitch your ideal to them, or what it is that you want to do, or who you are as a person. That's also a great thing. Become a thought leader. Do you understand what a thought leader is, right? You get what a thought leader is? Yeah, no? Sort of, kind of?
Sometimes it seems to be people who call themselves thought leaders.
And that's perfect. That's perfect. You can call yourself a thought leader, and there you are. You can be whoever you want to be on the internet. That's a great thing, right? So become a thought leader, right? Create a YouTube video. I've recruited tons and tons of college graduates who created YouTube videos. They went to YouTube, they went to social media, they hashtagged our company, and I was just, lo and behold, I was going through resumes, I'm looking through social media, and I'm like, who is this? Clicked on it, wow, 100,000 likes they have for a video they did. Made absolutely no sense to me, but it got my attention. And that's what they wanted, was to get my attention, and they got it. Earn industry-specific certification. So again, I'm in HR, so I'm earning the SPHR. I can earn a PHR or an SPHR. SPHR is higher than the PHR. And attend networking events. Events such as these right here. These are great for you to attend. You get a chance to know people in the industry. You get a chance to meet some senior level people, executives. They can kind of explain to you how to get into their organization. You can find out the buzz of what's happening, you know, all over. So, go ahead, you got a question?
I'm saying, what certifications do you like for security?
That's a great
Because
question.
there's a follow-up to it.
There's a follow-up? So I would like to see any kind of certification. So to me, if you have a certification, that says that you're doing your due diligence. You may not have all of the like senior level certifications. I believe there's a CISSO one. That's something familiar? Yes, exactly. There was a young man I was talking to on the phone the other day, and there was a certification. He did the testing part, but he has to have 2 years experience. So to me, that's that one. Perfect. So to me, I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool that, you know, you're doing your due diligence. And even though it may take a while, I can see, you know, your strides that you're making. Sounds like a good candidate, because he, you know, he is taking his career into his own hands, and he's taking it serious, right? What's your next question?
So, I'm not sure how I feel about some of these certifications, including SASB even. Because like, so for example, there's a certification called Certified Ethical Hacker. Okay? Probably a lot of people here have heard of it. I think it's fair to say that it's quite introductory. Okay? And, you know, different people in this room have different, you know, roles. But if you want to be a hacker, I don't think that having a certification is like, that's like saying, you know, look at me, I have a high school diploma. Okay? If you're trying to achieve, like, if you want to be working at a certain level, I'm not sure I want to advertise, I've got this.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
So,
Good point. Right, great point. So to your point,
so could the certification actually in a way like hurt you?
it can. It can, depending on the company, depending on the organization, it can hurt you. That's a good point. So for example, for me, so I've been a director of HR and I don't have my SPHR. For me, it's more so just about doing it just to do it. I don't have to have it. I mean, I know HR, I have the experience, I've been in HR for 15 years. It changes constantly. And a certification, it doesn't mean that, you know, per se that I am well groomed in HR. You can have all the certifications that you want, but you have to be able to apply it to where you are. Otherwise, it's just theory-based, but that is a good point. Absolutely. I like it. So, now that you've gotten HR's attention, right? You have my attention, you got the interview. What do you do now that you have the interview? Like, how are you remembered? How can you be remembered, you know, during your interview process? One of the things that I typically do when I go for an interview, I always have a one-page profile. So on the next slide, I have just a sample of a one-page profile from years ago that I had. But you just want to have a one-page profile, something to remember you by, just specifically, just to remember me, like Sheena. If I meet 25 people, you know, how will I stand out? What will make me different from the other candidates? They all probably have the same type of certifications, the same background. Well, what is it about me that will make me stand out? One of the things, if you go to a job fair, make sure that you research again the employer, the hiring manager, and the job opportunity. How do you do that? Social media, LinkedIn. I am always on LinkedIn, constantly on LinkedIn. I post articles. If someone can come up to me and they can like, you know, I really enjoyed the article you posted about fitting into the culture of an organization. That means a lot to me. That really stands out to me that you took the time and now you remember that, right? Always smile and dress for success. Always smile. Smiling is very important. Very, very, very important. And when I say dress for success, I don't mean dress in a three-piece suit, right? You want to dress to the culture, to the organization. You want to fit in. If they wear, you know, leather coats and blue jeans, you probably want to wear leather coats and blue jeans too, right? If you go in a three-piece suit, you may make them feel uncomfortable because it's like, oh my God, this person is, you know, I don't know if they'll fit in or not. Take several copies of your resume when you go. A lot of times, you may meet with one person, and then they may be like, you know what? You seem like a really good candidate. I want you to meet with someone else. And I think for my interview, I met with 6 people. So I interviewed with 6 people total. 3 were phone interviews, and then the other 3 were like back to back to back. And I wasn't expecting them at all. I was expecting to meet with one person, but I had extra copies of my resume. Practice your body language. So if you are like folding your hands or slouched over, you kind of seem like, well, you know, I don't know if this person is right. I don't know what's going on with them. But if you stand tall and you talk and you shake their hand and you make eye contact, that is always a great sign. Ask insightful questions. So what kind of questions do you think would be insightful to ask? So that's good answer, good answer. So insightful questions that you may want to ask during an interview that I always ask people, I may say something like, so tell me what makes an excellent employee here, right? That gets them to tell you what they're looking for, right? So now you know, like, somebody who's on time, somebody who's collaborative, somebody who is adaptable, you know, they understand the industry, they're thought leaders. So that way you can speak to that same thing. You can kind of talk their language and you get it. So then what do you do after you have the interview? Right after the interview, you want to send a thank you note, either by email or by postal mail. I personally would recommend email just because it's easier, it's quicker, it's faster, and you can kind of add your own little flair to it. Postal mail may take too much time. Yes?
I've heard that for a long time.
Heard what?
It's always, that you should always, you know, send the note.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it, who cares?
Who cares? Good point. Good point.
Especially when you're handling handling surely it's at least dozens of you know.
Right.
Thanks for the yeah.
How many people don't?
Why does it matter?
How many people don't?
How many people don't?
I would say a third of the people don't. A third of the people don't send thank you notes, and those who do, I always go back and I'm like, wait a minute, who was that? Let me go back and see.
So it's
and
bringing the person back to mind.
Absolutely. You should want to stay on my mind all the time. So I'm kind of, what's your name? Chris. I'm like, Chris. Oh yeah, Chris. He has very insightful questions. He had very positive body language. Yeah, you know what, in his interview, you know, he had some really good questions. He has some really good answers to some things that I asked. Yes.
I want to bring back to, it's basically a conversion rate. You're trying to bring yourself between the interview to actually getting an offer.
Absolutely.
And if you can keep top of mind, just like any of the sellers online, you know, eBay, you visit us, if you visit a particular auction and then you don't purchase it,
Yeah.
eBay is going to start sending you alerts by the fact that, hey,
Yeah.
we've found other things that might be of interest, because
Yeah.
they want you to make that conversion and make that purchase. Sending a postal, you know, postcard or letter real quick,
Absolutely.
just a little something jot. If you get on time, just shoot them a LinkedIn message or email. It's going to bring that top of mind, and a day later they're going to go, oh wait, yeah, I know about Justin. I want to bring him in.
Yep. Exactly. Go ahead.
So follow to that is, I had heard, don't do email. I heard that quite a while ago. Is there a rate between, I mean, do you value one over the other, a postal or email?
No, I don't. So it used to be you send an actual handwritten note. That's not the industry that we live in. Because let's be honest, if you don't do well in the interview, you walk out 5 minutes later, I've forgotten you already. I probably, oh, okay, sure, You call, oh yeah, I got it, yep. So I'm not paying attention. But if you send me an email, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, yeah, she did send me an email. Let me go back and let me look at the notes that I took about her. Let me look at the scorecard. Let me look at her checklist. It's always important because you are marketing yourself. So you're branding yourself, right? To me, they are, yeah. And most people in the industry, they are now too. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it kind of depends on who you're dealing with. If you look at someone, and you're dealing with them, and you have interaction with them, and let's say you're in the interview, and they have a bunch of papers all over.
There you go.
It's probably a good indication, but they like to have paper.
but will it get lost in the pile? And then, you know, how long will it take, how long will it take to get there? This is why I say email. How long will it take to get back if you send a post-it? So if you send it that same day, it may take 2 days to get to them. Then if the receptionist picks up the mail, right, hopefully they pick it up every day. Hopefully they put it on their desk. Hopefully they're not on vacation the day after they interviewed you, which that happened to me. The lady was on vacation. I called her back for 2 weeks straight when I worked for GE because it's such a huge organization. I called her back 2 weeks. 2 weeks straight. I called her back like, hi, are you back from vacation? Hi, hi. She got tired of me. Yes.
2 insights. One, like trying to get to that place, 2 simple things. Build your network. Being here tonight is part of that.
Yep.
And have a story to tell.
There you go.
Build your network. You're going to find people that are interested in hearing your story. You're going to be able to tell it to them and find it out. Now, when you get to the interview, I've interviewed tons of people.
Yeah.
One of the things I always recommend people do is, I get when you get in the interview and you start talking about me and my company and my product and everything it currently does, that's somewhat why you're there. You're there to talk about yourself. So say I know. Because like when I interview people, if they say we a lot, I'm like, okay, you're familiar with what I'm asking you about. But if you say I, you're involved. And there's a big difference between familiar and involved. And I think being involved puts you more at the top of the list. Being familiar, widespread, but you know, when it comes into a project and we're all getting into different things, you're gonna go, okay, but you're not gonna have that depth I'm looking for.
Absolutely. That's good. That's a very good point. That is a very good point.
And it's hard to do that, like, you know, a lot of that says face-to-face stuff, but you do that over the phone. You know, interviews, like now in technology, you hire anywhere, you can work anywhere. You never come to the office, so. You know, I mean, just some insights there, because
Yeah.
I think, like, when you get to that interview, you got, like, 60 minutes.
Yep.
You know, and you got
If that.
the most use of that time there, yeah.
I usually 15 minutes. I'm usually like 15, 20 minutes tops. Yeah, 15, 20 minutes. I can kind of get a feel for you. I'll have you sit with a couple of other people. I'll see like, you know, hey, I like them. Hey, do you like them? I don't know. And we'll bring them back if we need to. We'll get other people involved if we need to. Absolutely.
And unless you want to get past an HR screen, I would not start your resume off with like a list of technologies that just are dropped, because that's just ridiculous. Because as soon as you start to get in, or you know, maybe have an interview resume to get past the HR screen first, and then have a different one to present, tell us your story. Because otherwise, your interviewee's gonna sit there and go, oh, crap, which one of these technologies is he or she familiar with?
Absolutely.
Or which one's he involved with?
Yep.
You know?
Well, one of the things with technology now, so Secure State is a mid-sized company. One of the cool things is that they still have human eyes that actually look at each resume. A lot of companies have HR software that you have to have the right keywords. Otherwise, it'll just kick it back out to you. It'll just kick it back out and it'll just send you a denial letter automatically. But then how do you know what the keywords are, right? Like you don't necessarily know what all the keywords are. So that's why it's important to customize your resume. So if they're using certain verbiage in the job description, make sure you input that into your resume to make sense, right? So here's an example right here of just a one-page profile that I created years ago. And I use it to network inside of the company that I was with. So basically, it's just like my name, my school, I was in school at the time, you know, what I was doing, my master's, my interests that I had, what was my biggest accomplishment in my current role, what I wanted to do next, you know, what I learned in my current role, my experiences, how I was working to build my skill set, and I always put a quote. So I'm very big on quotes. This helped me network with leaders, right? Because with a one-page profile, they may not have a job per se right then that fits my skill set, but they can be like, oh, you know what? I have a one-page profile. Let's see what she was into. Oh, let me pull it up, and they'll look at it, and they'll have this for their reference. So they may not have a job now, but let's say 6 months from now or a month from now, they may have something that comes up, and there I am, right? So it's nothing wrong with that. Questions to consider during the interview process. Behavioral style questions. Does everybody know what behavioral style questions are? Yeah, kind of tricky in a sense because, you know, before 20 years ago, it was like you asked yes or no questions, right? It was either yes or it was no, and that was it. So with behavioral style, I want to see how you behave. I want to see like your inner workings. I want to see how you think, right? Behavioral style questions are aimed to focus on past behaviors of the candidate in work situations. There are no right or wrong answers when it comes to behavioral style questions. That's the thing. So you really can't study for a behavioral style interview. You just have to know how to answer the questions, right? So the next slide, it'll outline that. Yes?
So would that be like when they ask you, what makes you better than the other guy? And what's a good answer to that for anybody?
You don't know the other guy.
Yeah, I'm supposed to answer that. I don't know the other guy.
Good answer. That's the answer. There really is no right or wrong answer. So you could say, you know what? I don't know who the other guy is, but I can tell you that I am adaptable, right? That I'm approachable, I'm coachable. Whatever they're asking in the job description, I would just say that you have all those things. No, seriously, there is no right or wrong answer to that, because technically what you don't want to do is you don't want to start tearing down somebody else. That's like a bad sign. Yeah.
I have to disagree a little bit.
Go ahead.
There is a wrong answer.
What's the wrong answer?
Lying your butt off.
Well, yeah, don't lie. Yeah.
Easiest way to end an interview ever
Yeah, don't lie.
for me is to lie, because right then it's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, don't lie. I would hope no one would lie.
There's
on the
selling
interview.
and then there's overselling.
Overselling.
It's done.
So define overselling.
Why?
Well, how do you know it's a lie, or if they're embellishing?
And that's something that you have to dig deeper for, which is what these style questions a lot of times uncover. But it
Mhm.
seems like something simple that, oh, well, I'll just, fib a little bit and pile up quick. And it just fries the interview
Uh-huh.
and becomes very transparent.
Yep.
And you might not realize it as you're trying to, sell yourself. And, oh, no, I definitely can do
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Yeah.
Others are really good at doing that.
I invented it.
I invented it. I like it. Yes, I like it.
The internet?
So
The internet.
the internet. So how do you answer behavioral style questions, right? I typically tell people to answer in the STAR method, and you can look this up. So you give a situation, you tell the task, the action that you took, and then the result, right? So you're just very basic with how you're answering the questions. So here, I'll give you some examples on the next slide. So if I say, tell me about a time when you worked effectively under pressure, right? This question deals with an individual that may deal with stress. They may have a stressful job. So I may ask you a question. So tell me about a time when you worked effectively, under pressure. I may say, I was working and I had a deadline that I had to meet by Friday. And, I had to multitask and prioritize all of my other duties, and I had to hand some things off. In the end, I got the task completed, but I was definitely under pressure, right? That's a good way to ask it. It's using the STAR method. So I gave the situation, I told the task at hand, the action that I took by prioritizing, and then the action or the result was that it was completed. How do you handle challenges? Tell me about a time when you've dealt with a mistake. This may seem like a tricky question. So if I ask a candidate, tell me about a time when you've made a mistake and what happened. If you tell me, I have to think about it, or I've never made a mistake, you are overselling yourself, like he said. This is the point where you oversell yourself. Be transparent, not too transparent. You don't want to say, you know what, I'm late every single day to work. And I never make it on time, and I'm always late from lunch, and I always want to leave early. That's probably not something that you want to disclose in the interview. But if you say, you know what, one day I accidentally made a mistake, I sent the email to the wrong person, or I'm not following the matrix style organization and how their culture fits, and I asked the wrong person for the wrong information, and I accidentally sent it somewhere. It was a foolish mistake that I made, but however, I did learn from it. And the next time when I had to send something out, I double checked who I was sending the information to. So it's just about being transparent. If you say I've never made a mistake, red flags go up for me everywhere, because I'm like, okay, either you're lying or you cover up the lies, you cover up what you're doing, and you're not honest, you don't work in a team, you're not collaborative, because everybody makes mistakes. That's just part of life. It's just making a mistake, right? So Secure State, you know about Secure State, right? So Secure State is a global management consulting firm, and we specialize in information security. So we have what we consider our philosophy of how we help our customers and our clients save time and resources. We are hosting a job internship fair March 31st in Cleveland, Ohio, between the hours of 1 and 3. And you can register on our website at www.securestate.com/careers. If you know people who are interested, absolutely pass this information along to them. Some of our areas of opportunity: research analysts, IT, management consultants, business writers, project managers, and sales professionals. And this is our flyer. Oh, yes.
I saw internships. Is that unpaid internships or paid internships?
Paid internships.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. Paid internships.
So people maybe jumping out of school or entering from another career field might
absolutely
be applicable to
Yep.
that.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yep. Perfect. So if you know anyone who's interested, let them know. Stalk me on LinkedIn if you want. I don't mind. If you ever need any kind of suggestions as far as your resume or interviewing, or you want to switch fields, just let me know. You can always look me up on LinkedIn, and I'll absolutely answer your questions. Thank you. Yes.
I've got a quick question.
Yeah.
You offered before. You offered a lot of wonderful positive advice for how to do things well. But do you have any thoughts on the opposite of that? Like, what's the quickest way to end your review? For me, it's lying. What would be a non-starter that you should completely stay away from?
Someone who does not smile. Someone who is very cold. So I'm very warm and friendly. So I'm like, hi. You know, I'm shaking your hand. Some people are very like, no, 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 right? Or if I'm talking and you give one-word answers, I'm trying to engage you. So during the interview, it's your time to talk about you. I want to hear all about you, right? That's very important to me. Yeah.
So this is sort of a follow-up on what Chris was asking earlier, mentioning about certifications. So the information security field in particular is kind of a interesting field in terms of all of the certifications that are out there floating around. You as an HR professional, how do you gain the knowledge of what is the most desirable certification? Where does that come from for you?
So for me, I usually do research on the actual industry, and then I'll ask a lot of the senior level resources that we have, just to kind of get a gauge from them, because they work in that field. For me, I'm recruiting for all fields. So I have to know not just information security, but I got to know project management, I need to know HR, resource management, IT. So I rely heavily on those who are in the industry. And then I also, so when I do the interview, my style is more high level cultural fit, right? So like, will this person fit in the culture? You know, is this someone that I'll have to babysit, right? I don't want to babysit you. Is this someone, you know, who we can coach, who's adaptable, who's, you know, they're able to learn? Is this something that we can take on, you know, from a human capital risk perspective? And then I rely heavily on the experts that we have there. Yeah, good question. Anything else? Okay, thank you all. I appreciate it.